We get the possible release date of the iPhone 6 as manufacturing has begun. Screenshots of the next generation Android have already emerged as well, and Microsoft is willing to give you back a ton of cash for a Surface Pro 3. I'm Jaime Rivera, and isn't it sad that if you buy an Android phone today, it'll be obsolete by tomorrow? This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news is quite compelling today, starting with Microsoft, as the company is willing to give you back as much as $650 if you trade in your current MacBook Air for a Microsoft Surface Pro 3. Now, bear in mind, it's as much as $650, so it depends on how old your computer is, and it also depends on the condition. And even though this is pretty much half the price of a MacBook Air, still, it is just $150 below the price of the entry-level Surface Pro 3. If you're interested, you have to do this before July in any Microsoft store, though. Would you do it? And speaking of Microsoft and Nokia, the companies have just announced the Nokia X2. This is the successor to the Nokia X. It is still an entry-level phone. There is not really much to talk about here when it comes to specifications, but still they fixed everything that people did not like of the Nokia X, starting with the hardware buttons. Aside from the fact that, it's hilarious. This thing looks like Windows Phone in almost every way, which makes you wonder if it's really worth it to have Windows Phone where you could just build an Android launcher with live tiles. It's pretty much almost the same thing. Links in the description. Make sure you watch the video that's attached that gives you a full rundown of everything you can expect. Now let's talk about Motorola, as we've been expecting the Moto X Plus 1 for quite some time, which would be the successor to the Moto X, and we've also heard rumors that this phone is codenamed Victara, which is partly victorious or whatever the name might be, but we get more leaks. And this is a very interesting design. Actually, the leaks are of a case, and we see two separate leaks of a very big camera hole, since everybody complained about the camera on the Moto X. And could it be that this will be the push for the Moto X Plus 1? We still don't have any dates or any particulars, but the design is not really as nice as the Moto X was. That's unfortunate. Let's talk about Apple, and specifically the iPhone 6, as Bloomberg and a lot of other publications are already talking about what to expect for the launch date of the iPhone 6. Apparently, production has begun, as we've reported in the last couple of days, but it seems that, number one, we will be getting the iPhone 6 in September, and number two, apparently both models, the 4.7-inch and 5.5-inch models, will be ready on the same launch date in September, which kind of contradicts the other rumors that the 5.5-inch model was going to be pushed for later. We do know that the 5.5-inch model will be in limited quantity, so even if they do launch it, they pretty much won't. Stay tuned. And finally, for the very hot news of the day, yesterday after filming our predictions video for what to expect for Google I/O, we got some screenshots of Android L. And yes, these are screenshots of the next generation Android running on a Nexus 4, which means that it'll run on the Nexus 4. And even though there are some design changes, it really looks a lot like the current generation Android, so it's easy to think that this will just be Android 4.5 and not really Android 5.0. But Sundar Pichai has already confirmed that the next generation Android will be launched tomorrow at Google I/O. We'll definitely have a full roundtable of everything we think about the event. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But still, that leads you to the question of the day. What would be the biggest thing that you would like for Android to change in its future version? What is your biggest top number one pick? In my particular case, honestly, I would love for my HTC One M8 to be current tomorrow. I would love for Google to figure out a way to have its next generation Android run the next day or the next week on its future or current Android phones. That's probably the most disappointing part about Android, but leave us a comment down below. What is your top number one pick? Yes, friends, you know the drill. If you want to get the news earlier before this video was filmed, make sure you follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.